Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 2 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles micro villain series. And the story that we're going to be covering is the one for Baxter Stockman. And I think we all know who Baxter Stockman was. The creator of the Mousers, also became a fly mutant, as well as being voiced by Phil Lamar in the 2012 TMNT cartoon. And the best way I can sum up Baxter Stockman is meant to be like a dark reflection of not only Donatello, but also April O'Neil. But let's get on with the story. It starts off with Baxter Stockman working in his lab, and with the construction of the Technodrome, as well as things with the Krang, he realises things are starting to get a little more messier now. So of course, he is working on a new project with his Mouser assistants, and even remembers back to the time when him and his dad used to play chess. And you see how his dad tries to kind of expect his son to understand that winning is what life is all about, but we kind of see how his dad gives him the wrong idea about it, and even says, luck is a bunch of claptrap. We only believe in the power of our minds, and what we can accomplish with them. Now set the board up again. And we see right away Krang mainly talks with Baxter Stockman, and we kind of see how even Krang is a little bit cautious with Baxter Stockman's repeated failures, and we see how Baxter Stockman introduces Flyborg, who is meant to be this next step on being like these worker bee like henchmen. And we even see how Baxter Stockman mentions they're completely expendable. Oh, and wants to kind of set it up for a trial run, and right away you know Baxter Stockman is planning up something fishy. And we even have another flashback to how his dad berates him again, and even talks about how, yeah, acting on your anger is a costly mistake. And you do see how his dad gives him the idea that to be more like me syndrome. And we see how, with the construction of the Technodrome slowly going underway, we see how Baxter Stockman tests out the Flyborg, and we even see how Krang soldiers say, Dr. Stockman, what is that thing? And why is it here? What did it just say something?
Not thing, not expendable thing.
And right away, yeah, something goes haywire. We see how Stockman realises what's happening, and even tries to kind of get the soldiers to calm down, but right away Flyborg goes haywire, and right away it's massacring everyone around him. And right away this is Stockman having to get Krang's help, and even says, Stockman, this better be important. Why are you whispering? General Krang, it's the Flyborg. My experiment, it's got away, and from me, and something went wrong. Why? I would never have predicted that. And right away, yeah, because of everything that's happened with Stockman, even Krang is getting tired of so many mutants popping around, and even offers to help Stockman keep track of everything that's going on. And right away, we see how Stockman lures him to the safe room, and right away, Stockman has already things planned out, and turns out was mainly using this as a diversion to get intel of the Technodrome, as well as using Flyborg as a Trojan horse, and had planned everything around it to kind of cover his tracks. And even Stockman saying, help, it's in here, you have to help me. And we see how, yeah, the other rock soldiers show up, we see how Flyborg gets blown away to a crisp, and Stockman now having all the intel he needs, and even plans to use the future toys for his next plan. And we are introduced to the end of the story, how Stockman took over his dad's company, and his dad realised that his son double-crossed him, and now Stockman is in charge of his father's company, setting the events to the main comic book series in motion. And this is the story. So I think issue 2 is enjoyable, and it definitely shows you the side to Baxter Stockman about his past. yeah, his father expected him to be like a copy and paste version of himself, but right away we know Stockman is kind of like a bit more different from his father. And I think what the 2003 one actually got right at with Stockman's origin is how he was never really a bad guy. It was because, yeah, what happened to his mum, and his mum kind of always expected him to be a better version. Obviously, everything that happened to him was because of his own past. And it's like what I always say, a person's past can be for better or worse, or sometimes when something happens to them, they become a worse version of themselves, or a better version, depending on how they handle the situations. Definitely a good story, definitely readable, and definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.